Everyone, welcome to the meeting of the Lewis and Clark County Commissioners. Everyone is standing so that we can say the pledge in a timely manner. Let's do it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Well, good morning. Start out with the introductions. I am the chair of the commission, Candace Payne. To my left is Commissioner Tom Rolfe.
Good morning.
To his left is Brandy Spangler. Greg's not here today. To my right is Commissioner Andy Hunthausen, and Nico Hash from the county attorney's office, and Mr. Roger Balls, our CAO. We have a sign-in sheet up there in front of the bar, and I hope you will all take the time and opportunity to sign in and let us know who you are. Do we have consent action items, Mr. Balls?
Chair Payne, we don't have any items today. Thank you.
Okay. Moving right along. Number 3 on our agenda is a bid opening for the 2025 crack seal. And you are not Audra Zacherl, I can tell. Morning,
No.
Dan.
Good morning, Chair Payne, Commissioners. For the record, Dan Karlin, County Engineer. I'm here on behalf of Audra Zacherl to open the bids for the 2025 crack seal project. Looks to me like we have 5 bids today. We'll just go in order here. I guess for reference and by way of some description, the crack seal project is, we've got a variety of roads in the county and in our RIDs, rural improvement districts, that have cracks in the asphalt. It's important for us to get those sealed up to prevent water from penetrating into the base of that roadway. So we annually go around and we seal all those cracks. So that's what this is for.
Good. Thank you for the explanation.
All right. So this first bid I have here is from Z&Z out of Billings, Montana. Great. They have included what appears to be a bid bond. It appears that their bid submittal is signed and complete, and their bid form is complete and filled out. They have submitted a unit price bid of $79,559.76. Second bid is from what appears to be CR Contracting of Bend, Oregon. We have included a bid bond, it appears. The bid form appears to be signed, and the bid form is actually completed. They have submitted a total unit price bid of $195,449.85. The third bid is from Hard Drives Construction of Billings, Montana. Bid form appears to be complete. Signature page appears to be complete. And it appears they've included a bid bond. They have submitted a total unit price bid of $85,156.80. Right. His fourth bid is from Yellowstone Pavement Solutions. It appears they've included a bid bond. Bid form appears to be complete. And appears to be signed. They have submitted a total unit price bid of $94,192.29. This final bid is from Cap Paving Incorporated of East Helena, Montana. And the bid form appears to be complete. The signature page also appears to be complete. And it appears they have included a bid bond. They have submitted a total unit price bid of $68,563.20. And staff would like to take these 5 bids under advisement, review them to ensure that all items are complete. And we would like to come back to the commission with a recommendation for award in 2 weeks. And I am struggling with the date right
2
now.
weeks.
Would be April 3rd, I believe.
April
First.
1st. Madam Chair.
Would that be April
It's
Fool's
Tuesday,
Day?
yes.
Yeah.
Seems appropriate, doesn't it?
Chairman, yes, April 1st. I was thinking Thursday, not Tuesday, but yes, Tuesday, April 1st.
Okay. Is there any questions from the commission?
Yeah.
In that case, maybe we should have a motion as to what we're going to do with this thing.
Public comment, Madam Chair?
What's that?
Public comment?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Is there any public comment on these bids? Seeing none, we will hold further public comment when it comes time to discuss the whole project that you're going to tell us about in detail. Okay. So we are going to, do we table this or do we just postpone it until,
Chair Payne, we make a motion to.
okay,
uh,
do it.
Okay. Chair Payne, Commissioner Rolfe, I would move that we ask staff to take these 5 bids under consideration and advisement and make a recommendation to the commission at our regular scheduled meeting on April 1st here at 9 a.m.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we have our Public Works Department take these bids, the 5 bids, under advisement and bring us back a recommendation at our meeting scheduled for Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 3-0. Thank you, Dan. Is there anything else I'm supposed to talk about?
Oh, Chair Payne, I believe I have the next agenda item.
Oh, good. Glad we're done with this one. Ooh, paint striping. Number 4 on our agenda this morning is bid award for 2025 paint striping or striping, also presented by Dan Karlin. Good morning, Dan.
Good morning, Chair Payne, Commissioners. On March 4th Dan Karlin for the record, County Engineer. On March 4th, 2025, 2 bids were opened for the 2025 paint striping project. The project generally consists of paint striping of various county roads, including the city of East Helena roads in Lewis and Clark County, and 1 road in Jefferson County, Montana. 2 bids were received, and 1 was disqualified from consideration because the bid envelope was not properly addressed and the bidder did not acknowledge receipt of Addendum 1, rendering the bid non-responsive. Funding for this project is from the road infrastructure budget. After review of bids, staff recommends awarding the contract to the low bidder, Solo Marking LLC of Billings, Montana, for a unit price base bid total amount of $125,664.00. That sounded wrong. $125,664.00. And authorize the chair to sign all applicable contract documents. I can answer questions you may have.
Thank you, Dan. Does the commission have any questions regarding the water strip, the
None,
paint striping?
none here?
Chair Payne,
Yep.
if I could, just for explanation purposes for the public that might be watching, because sometimes this is confusing for people. But we, as you said in your presentation, Mr. Karlin, we open bids at a previous meeting. Those bids were taken under advisement, and you and others on the Public Works team review those bids to make sure they're complete, sufficient, and then try and find the best value for the taxpayer ultimately with those bids that are most complete and sufficient. And then you mentioned 1 bid that did not make the grade, and so we have to make sure that they have followed all of the rules, the process that we have set forth so that everyone's on an equal playing field. And then come back here. This is the day that you make the recommendation to us for the best bid that is complete and sufficient, as well as the best value for the taxpayer. So that's where we are today. I just want to make that explanation. I know that we do this repeatedly, and speaking to the choir that's in the room, but for those that might be watching, it's good to explain why and how we do this and why we do it all in a public setting. None of this stuff is done behind closed doors, so we want to make sure that we open bids in public, we make the recommendations of who is going to be the bid winner in public, and that we give the public an opportunity to participate in that process at every turn. So thank you, Chair Payne.
Thank you for explaining that, Chair or Commissioner Hunthausen. Is there any more questions from the commission?
No.
Is there any public comment? Speak now or forever hold your peace. We're not going to do this anymore. Okay. Then, how about a motion?
Chair Payne, I would move to accept the bid as recommended by the staff to the low bidder, Solo Marketing LLC of Billings, Montana, for a total bid of $125,644.00.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded.
Madam Chair, sorry, I think it's $64, not $44.
$64. Yes, $164.
Just want to make sure you got it right on the record.
Zero
Excuse me,
cents.
Chair Payne.
Yep, sorry about that.
It has been moved and seconded that we accept the bid of Solo Marking LLC of Billings, Montana, for for a base bid total amount of $125,664.00. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? 3-0 is the vote in favor of continuing down the road with this project. Ooh, now we're getting into the good stuff. Noxious weeds. Good morning, Christian.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Christian Lehnert, Lewis and Clark County Noxious Weed Supervisor. Before you this morning is the updated Lewis and Clark County Noxious Weed Management Plan for January 2025 through December of 2026. This is required biannual update for the Montana Department of Agriculture. The purpose of this plan is to strengthen, support, and coordinate noxious weed management efforts in the county, as well as promote an implementation of integrated noxious weed management efforts. The plan fulfills the statutory requirements of the Montana Code annotated 7-22-2121 and allows the Lewis and Clark County Noxious Weed Board to pursue Noxious Weed Trust Fund grant dollars through the state. On January 8th, 2025, this plan was presented, reviewed, and approved, by the Noxious Weed Board for your consideration. If the plan is approved by the commission, this plan will be submitted to the Department of Agriculture for their review. Staff recommends approval of the presented Noxious Weed Management Plan.
Thank you, Christian. Any questions from the commission?
And just, if I might, Chair Payne, we just talked briefly about it earlier, but if you just would restate for the other commissioners about the extent of the changes.
Chair Payne, Commissioner Rolfe, yes. There wasn't really any additions to this plan. What we really did is go through it for formatting, editing, making sure all of our definitions within the plan were done correctly and put through there so that there is some understanding. Just as an example, there was a misunderstanding of board and district and sort of some of those things we've had in the past. And so we wanted to make sure that those definitions were written out clearly and defined clearly, and then made sure that they were implemented through the plan correctly so that there was no longer any confusion. So.
And then if I might follow up, but no
Follow-up.
new weeds added or taken off the list or anything like that.
Chair Payne, Commissioner Rolfe, no new noxious weeds were added through the legislative session this year or the previous year, or the previous session. So, nope.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Tom. That was a good report. I'm glad you're on that board. Commissioner Hunthausen, do you have
Chair
anything?
Payne, we can't let him off that easy. No, I just, actually, I just wanted to give you an opportunity. There's probably a good, lot of folks out there that don't understand what the weed district does. So an opportunity to blow your horn, talk a little bit about the good work that you do. So this is the plan that you follow and the board follows throughout the year. Kind of just give us the highlight. You're coming into spring now. Weeds are, you already talked the other day, I think we were talking about cheatgrass.
Mm-hmm.
So things are coming. What do you guys do? How do you follow this plan? What kind of staff do you have? What might people see out there in the world as you ramp up and the summer season obviously is the big season, but you're working all year long. Just a chance to tell us a little bit about what you do, or tell the public a little bit about what you do.
Chair Payne, Commissioner Hunthausen.
It's important. So,
Yeah, so just sort of like we mentioned in here, it has the integrated weed management plan. So it's sort of bases from how we work on them, whether that's mechanical, like mowing, biological, spraying, education is a big one that we've been really trying to implement. Revegetation too, we've been working on that too as a county weed district.
Because, sorry, I'm going to ask a question if I can, Chair Payne. Because as you're alluding to, education's a big one because private citizens are responsible for their own, the weeds on their own property. The weed district doesn't come and spray for them necessarily. It might help them out with some education or materials if they want to participate in the program, but you're really responsible for those county right-of-ways and other public lands or partnerships that we've created over the years, right?
Yeah, Chair Payne, Commissioner Hunhausen, yes. So we, just sort of what my staff, and we will have 6 seasonal sprayers. I do have another, he's called the Noxious Weed Planner. He sort of goes out and helps do a lot of that. With like weed management plans, site surveys, for whether it's subdivisions or private entities or gravel pits. We do non-compliance as well. He does a lot of that. But for instance, we as the division, the district here, we help take care of the county's properties. That's where we go out and physically spray and mitigate noxious weeds. Staff also helps the public with education. We have a lot of resources here to help them out, whether that's helping them develop a weed management plan, which then they can participate in our cost share program that we have developed a couple years ago. And then just like this weekend, we did the HBIA show, and just, you know, I believe, I hope, I'm not going to misrepresent numbers, but it sounded like there was well over 1,700 people that walked through there between Saturday and Sunday. Hopefully it was over 2,000, but that's really good to sit down and talk to new landowners. That's who we participate with a lot. We have rentals that we provide for constituents within the county as well to help. And then all the literature that you can imagine as well as that we have in our office to help landowners with doing some research. I hope that answers some of your questions.
Chair Payne. Sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot. I just thought you do a lot of great things and we don't talk about it very often. So I wanted to give you a chance to just kind of tell the public about some of the good work you do. So thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Excuse me, Christian. I have a neighbor. Oh, this is not a real situation, but if you have a neighbor who is not controlling their weeds and you're concerned about it blowing over onto your property and it's an eyesore, what does the property owner do? Do they call you and then you go after the neighbor, or is it their job to go after the neighbor?
Chair Payne, so our non-compliance process that we have for the county, you would call in to turn in John Doe, your neighbor. We would go out and do a site visit to make sure that it is noxious weeds that are over there, not obnoxious weeds.
And
The
obnoxious weeds, wait a second.
Obnoxious versus noxious.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
okay. So the weed board does not have the regulatory authority over nuisance vegetation. They have the regulatory authority over noxious weeds, which are the ones that have been implemented through the state legislature that are state listed noxious weeds. We also have county noxious weeds that have gone through the process that can also be used under their authority. So those are, with that process, then we go out there and make sure that they're identified as noxious weeds, and then we send them a letter indicating their responsibility that they need to do with their property to make sure that they're not allowing noxious weeds to propagate. And we sort of help through and go through there and usually help educate them and give them resources to help the neighbor out. A lot of times it's just unawareness, or just, you know, you don't know what you don't know. So we actually do a lot of education, and that ends up going through the non-compliance. I always encourage neighbors to try to work neighborly with their neighbors to work on stuff, either do community spray days or such. But sometimes it does go that route, and then we go that route, and if we have to, we put them in non-compliance.
One more. Is this something that when homeowners association, the HOA, if they have a meeting, is this something that should be on their agenda?
Commissioner Payne, that's a great question. I participate in quite a few HOA meetings where we talk about noxious weed management, especially in the more rural areas that people that have, 5 or more acre lots, sort of the bigger lots. Yeah, I participate in at least 3 or 5 of those a year. So it's really good. I'm always here just so the public knows if they would like to add us to their HOA agenda, we're here, and I usually bring some good information for them to help them out.
Okay, thank you, Christian. Any further questions? Then how about public comment? Seeing no public comment, this will end the opportunity for public comment on this matter. Maybe, let's see, did we have our motion?
Nope, that's next, after public.
Okay, now we need a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd move that we approve the Noxious Weed Management Plan as presented by Mr. Lehnert.
Chair Payne, I would second that motion and note that it is Commissioner Henthausen that's once again getting us in the weeds.
Absolutely.
Oh, you gentlemen, I may have been a bad influence on these guys, encouraging levity at our commission meeting. It has been moved and seconded that we approve the Lewis and Clark County Noxious Weed Management Plan for 2025 and 2026. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. This motion passes with a 3-0 vote. Thank you, Christian. We have come to the portion of our agenda. Wait a second. Kevin, aren't you going to add to the public comment? Yeah. Okay. Come to this portion of our agenda where we ask any public comment on any public matter within the jurisdiction of the commission that is not on the agenda above. Seeing no public comment, this meeting is adjourned.